Penguin Random House Audio presents Rising Strong: How the Ability to Reset Transforms the Way We Live, Love, Parent, and Lead. This is the author, Brené Brown. To the brave and broken-hearted who have taught us how to rise after a fall, your courage is contagious. A note on research and storytelling as methodology. In the 1990s, when I began studying social work, the profession was in the midst of a polarizing debate about the nature of knowledge and truth. Is wisdom derived from experience more or less valuable than data produced by controlled research? What research should we allow into our professional journals, and what should we reject? It was a heated debate that often created considerable friction between professors. As doctoral students, we were often forced to take sides. Our research professors trained us to choose evidence over experience, reason over faith, science over art, and data over story. Ironically, at the exact same time, our non-research professors were teaching us that social work scholars should be wary of false dichotomies, those either you're this or you're that formulations. In fact, we learned that when faced with either-or dilemmas, the first question we should ask is, who benefits by forcing people to choose? If you applied the who benefits question to the debate in social work, the answer was clear. Traditional quantitative researchers benefited if the profession decided their work was the only path to truth. And tradition had the upper hand at my college, with little to no training in qualitative methods available and the only dissertation option quantitative. A single textbook covered qualitative research, and the book jacket was light pink. It was often referred to as the girls' research book. This debate became personal to me when I fell in love with qualitative research, grounded theory research to be specific. I responded by pursuing it anyway, finding a few faculty allies inside and outside my college. I chose as my methodologist Barney Glaser from the University of California, San Francisco Medical School, who, along with Anselm Strauss, is the founder of grounded theory. I am still deeply affected by an editorial I read in the 1990s titled Many Ways of Knowing. It was written by Anne Hartman, the influential editor of one of our most prestigious journals at the time. In the editorial, Hartman wrote, "This editor takes the position that there are many truths, and there are many ways of knowing. Each discovery contributes to our knowledge, and each way of knowing deepens our understanding and adds another dimension to our view of the world. For example, large-scale studies of trends in marriage today furnish helpful information about a rapidly changing social institution. But getting inside one marriage, as in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, richly displays the complexities of one marriage, leading us to new insights about the pain, the joys, the expectations, the disappointments, the intimacy, and the ultimate aloneness in relationships. Both the scientific and the artistic methods provide us with ways of knowing. And in fact, as Clifford Geertz has pointed out, innovative thinkers in many fields are blurring the genres, finding art in science and science in art and social theory in all human creation and activity. I succumbed to fear and scarcity, the sense that my chosen research method wasn't enough, for the first couple of years of my career as a tenure-track professor and researcher. I felt like an outsider as a qualitative researcher, so for safety, I stood as close as I could to the "if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist" crowd. That served both my political needs and my profound dislike of uncertainty. But I never got that editorial out of my head or my heart. And today, I proudly call myself a researcher storyteller, because I believe the most useful knowledge about human behavior is based on people's lived experiences. I am incredibly grateful to Anne Hartman for having the guts to take this position, to Paul Rafel, the professor who handed me a copy of that article, and to Susan Robbins, who bravely led my dissertation committee. As you read through this book, you will see that I don't believe faith and reason are natural enemies. I believe our human desire for certainty and our often desperate need to be right have led to this false dichotomy. I don't trust a theologian who dismisses the beauty of science or a scientist who doesn't believe in the power of mystery. Because of this belief, I now find knowledge and truth in a full range of sources. In this book, you'll come across quotes from scholars and singer-songwriters. I'll quote research in movies. I'll share a letter from a mentor that helped me get a handle on what it means to get your heart broken, and an editorial on nostalgia by a sociologist. I won't set up Crosby, Stills, and Nash as academics, but I also won't diminish the ability of artists to capture what is true about the human spirit. I'm also not going to pretend that I'm an expert on every topic that emerged as important in this book's research. Instead, I will share the work of other researchers and experts whose work accurately captures what emerged in my data. I can't wait to introduce you to some of these thinkers and artists who have dedicated their careers to exploring the inner workings of emotion, thought, and behavior. I've come to believe that we all want to show up and be seen in our lives. This means we will all struggle and fall. We will know what it means to be both brave and brokenhearted. I'm grateful that we're making this journey together. As Rumi says, we're all just walking each other home. For more information on my methodology and current research, visit my website, www.brenebrown.com. Again, thank you for joining me on this adventure. The truth is that falling hurts. The dare is to keep being brave and feel your way back up. Truth and Dare, an introduction. During an interview in 2013, a reporter told me that after reading The Gifts of Imperfection and daring greatly, he wanted to start working on his own issues related to vulnerability, courage, and authenticity. He laughed and said, "It sounds like it could be a long road. Can you give me the upside of doing this work?" I told him that with every ounce of my professional and personal being, I believe that vulnerability, the willingness to show up and be seen with no guarantee of outcome, is the only path to more love, belonging, and joy. He quickly followed up with, "And the downside?" This time I was the one laughing. You're going to stumble, fall, and get your ass kicked." There was a long pause before he said, "Is this where you tell me that you think daring is still worth it?" I responded with a passionate yes, followed by a confession. Today, it's a solid yes, because I'm not lying face down after a hard fall. But even in the midst of struggle, I would still say that doing this work is not only worth it, it is the work of living a wholehearted life. But I promise that if you asked me about this in the midst of a fall, I'd be far less enthusiastic and way more pissed off. I'm not great at falling and feeling my way back. It's been 2 years since that interview. 2 years of practicing being brave and putting myself out there. And vulnerability is still uncomfortable, and falling still hurts. It always will. But I'm learning that the process of struggling and navigating hurt has as much to offer us as the process of being brave and showing up. Over the past couple of years, I've had the privilege of spending time with some amazing people. They range from top entrepreneurs and leaders in Fortune 500 companies to couples who have maintained loving relationships for more than 30 years, and parents working to change the education system. As they've shared their experiences and stories of being brave, falling, and getting back up, I kept asking myself this question: what do these people with strong relationships, parents with deep connections to their children, teachers nurturing creativity and learning, clergy walking with people through faith, and trusted leaders have in common? The answer was clear. They recognize the power of emotion, and they're not afraid to lean into discomfort.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?